This unsettling footage was posted to TikTok by a user going by the name Jens, and it looks to have been filmed from inside a piece of heavy equipment working near a forested area late at night. As the machine slowly crawls along a narrow dirt track, its headlights catch something odd standing among the trees. It's hard to make out at first, but as the vehicle draws nearer, the shape starts to look like a figure dressed head to toe in white. Just ahead of the machine stands a pale humanoid shape with what seems to be a darkened face. What's strange is that it doesn't move at all as the massive vehicle bears down on it. No reaction to the blinding lights, no response to the roar of the engine. The closer the machine gets, the more it looks like someone completely wrapped in a white burial shroud. Maybe what we're seeing is nothing more than a bleached tree trunk, a piece of fabric caught on a branch, or just some ordinary person standing along the path. But then why would anyone stand completely frozen while heavy machinery bore down on them in pitch darkness? Was this just an innocent object warped by the night? Or was something pale and silent keeping watch from the shadows of those trees? The account Kuma Wixo posted footage documenting something unsettling he encountered after relocating to Columbus, Ohio. From the very start, something about the place just didn't sit right with him. The energy felt oppressive and strange, and he kept hearing unexplained sounds, distant screams included, that he did his best to brush off. The building he was living in had once served as a church many years prior, and it was within those walls that things began to take a genuinely disturbing turn. That's when something grabbed their attention.
He decided to follow it.
Bear, explain this, man.
It was in the rafters, on the other side of the building.
Bro, it just
The
turned a
fact that
fucking
it
corner.
says miss you forever too, and it came out of nowhere.
It then started
Yeah, no.
to follow
And
us
we were
after
watching-
we
I
cut
was
it
literally
off.
The entire time
I'm gonna need that video from you.
looking at. Stop coming over here. Literally looking at the ceiling. I was staring at the ceiling
And
the whole
nothing was there.
time
No
because it's a
balloons, no
cool
nothing.
ceiling.
Like, because it's got the orb, the old.
Yeah,
back
it's got
up,
the.
back up, back up.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Let it do its thing.
Why is Steve going from a 2-shot to 1 shot?
Whoa. You guys see the force on that?
Yeah, you know, I was fucking trolling, dude.
Whoa.
It's 3 o'clock.
Bro, watch that.
Nah.
Watch. Watch the force it has.
Separate? No. Like, move away from it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because, like,
No.
it is.
What in the fuck? Say faster, motherfucker.
It continued to get quicker.
At the time, Kuma was making his way through the building alongside a couple of friends when they spotted a balloon behaving in a way that didn't seem natural. It wasn't drifting aimlessly. Pay close attention here. The balloon appeared to move with purpose, almost as though something unseen was directing it. At one point, it even floated in the direction of the building's basement. Down there, an electrical box with a running fan could account for some of the movement. But things didn't end there.
Why?
Dude, no, because, like, my phone's actually, like, glitching out, too. Hold on.
Dude, we're gonna have to walk home. Okay, that was
Oh,
that.
wait,
That
no,
was that.
because.
That was that.
Okay, we might have got it scratched. Is it cold?
Oh, there's barely even coming out of it.
Why is it going so fast then?
Move,
There was
move.
no air in that shit.
Oh.
It sat here in one spot, but still tried to follow us up the stairs.
A while later, they came across another balloon in the main hall. It hovers in place for a brief moment before suddenly lurching and dropping fast. From there, it heads straight toward a weight room.
I knock on wood.
A lot of viewers argued the whole thing could be chalked up to air currents. Even so, the way the balloon seems to move with actual intention is hard to dismiss, especially given the building's history. It's easy to see why people believe something more could be going on there. What's certain is that this footage left plenty of viewers fascinated, and for some, genuinely unsettled. This unsettling clip centers on a young woman named Natalia, who decided on a whim to film herself one quiet evening while unwinding alone in her room. Everything seems completely normal at first. Then, without warning, the mood shifts as her phone picks up something odd, unfolding directly behind her. She has no idea anything is wrong in the moment. It's only when she glances down at her screen that she sees it.
Deus, meu Senhor, me ajuda.
The second Natalia clocks the strange movement reflected on her display, she completely loses her composure. Rather than turning around to face whatever it is, she bolts straight out of the room. If you pay close attention, the curtain next to the window appears to shift on its own, despite nobody visibly being anywhere near it. Nobody has been able to offer a definitive answer for what actually happened. Certain viewers suspect someone standing outside may have brushed against the curtain from the other side, but plenty of others are convinced that Natalia accidentally captured something that can't be so easily explained away. At around 2:30 in the morning, Sark was in the middle of recording a reaction video when something caught on camera left him genuinely terrified. Strange things had happened to him before. Pets passing away shortly after being brought home, wall clocks grinding to a halt despite having fresh batteries, but nothing could have prepared him for what unfolded after his move.
You can see the clock is stuck. It's most probably a battery fault, but two clocks going at the same time, it's obviously is very suspicious.
एक मिनट भाई
The new apartment offered no relief. The same unsettling patterns picked up right where they left off. Clocks died without reason. More pets met mysterious ends. And most disturbingly, the doorbell would ring with nobody standing outside. Sark floated the idea that it might have been someone playing a prank, but then something happened a few nights down the line that made that explanation feel a lot less convincing. The keys hanging near the door began swinging on their own. Deeply shaken, he tried to push it out of his mind. Then, just a few days later, while he was back in the living room recording another video, something unexpected interrupts the session. heavy, thundering knock crashed against the front door, sending Sark stumbling backward in alarm. He went to check and found nobody there. The incident hit him hard enough that he addressed it directly in a follow-up video, opening up about the toll these experiences were taking on him.
No, the ghost is not scary. They just f your life up. You see, the worst part of the haunting is not the activity which happens at night or any noise disturbance or
The pressure on Sark's mental health was mounting. He had begun to worry that whatever had been haunting his old place had made the move with him, and that things were only escalating. For a brief stretch, the activity seemed to quiet down, until one night produced the most chilling footage yet.
क्या हुआ जी?
तुम कहाँ पे?
यहाँ पे सो रहा है।
अच्छा, तुमको आवाज कुछ सुनाई दिया क्या?
नहीं। क्यों, क्या हुआ?
कुछ नहीं, मोनू की आवाज जैसे सुनाई दी। यहाँ पे आई क्या तुमको आवाज?
नहीं, यहाँ नहीं आई।
अच्छा ठीक है।
Sark crept toward the door with obvious hesitation. Then he heard it, his son's voice, coming from the other side, calling out to him. But when he went to look, his son was sound asleep in his bed. If the boy never stepped out of his room, then whatever was on the other side of that door was not him. Just like before, Sark is left with no answers. He keeps recording, hoping that someone out there can help him make sense of it all. On February 6th, 2025, a surveillance camera positioned on a remote farm in El Salvador captured something that's genuinely difficult to explain. Deep in the night, a strange humanoid shape materialized at the far edge of the property, drifting slowly from one side to the other, as if floating through the dark. At that exact moment, the farm's dogs went absolutely frantic, barking furiously and without stopping, reacting to something their instincts clearly recognized that no human present could detect. The figure produced no noise whatsoever and didn't appear to have any real physical density. It had a gray, shadow-like quality that made identifying it nearly impossible. Nobody had any business being out on that property at that hour, and the surrounding area is typically dead silent after dark. When the farmer sat down to review the recording the following day, what he saw on that footage left him completely stunned. There are those who believe this could be a spirit or some kind of malevolent entity, while others aren't so sure what to make of it. So tell us, what's your take? This unsettling footage was originally uploaded by a YouTube creator who goes by JJ Kicks. His channel was typically dedicated to football content, so nothing about this clip fit his usual style. Late one night, he was jolted awake by a strange sound. He hit record as a precaution, and what followed was something he clearly wasn't prepared for. See for yourself what his camera captured.
I just saw these metals. Look. Do you see that? Oh my gosh. What in the world? Oh. What? There's the metals again. A door just opened by itself. My house is...
The medals mounted on his wall began swaying without any apparent cause, and objects resting on a nearby table toppled over seemingly on their own. According to JJ Kicks, he was the only person in the house that evening, and at one point, the door to his room swung open with no one behind it. Some people in the comments were quick to call it a setup, but a more careful look at the footage raises an interesting detail. Only the medals hanging directly above a painting shifted, while the others stayed completely still. That kind of selective movement suggests something, or someone, was deliberately interacting with specific objects rather than just a draft or vibration causing everything to shake. The creator insisted his home had a haunted history, and given how out of character this video was for him, many of his followers found that claim surprisingly easy to believe. It also turned out to be the one and only clip of this nature he ever shared. So did an uninvited presence make its way into his home that night? Or is there a rational explanation you can think of? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. On October 20th, 2018, a woman named Jess had an encounter that left her completely unsettled. Jess had moved into a new home back in August, and for a while, things seemed perfectly ordinary. She does mention, however, that a close friend of hers named Derek had passed away 13 years prior, and every now and then she'd experience strange occurrences that she attributed to him. It never really bothered her much, especially considering Derek had once jokingly told her he'd come back to haunt her after he was gone. But shortly after settling into her new place, she decided to bring his ashes home with her, and that's when things started to escalate. Late one night around 3 a.m., she was lying in bed scrolling through her phone, worn out after a long evening, when she noticed something that stopped her cold.
Mary, what the fuck? He's doing it again. He's doing it again. Mary, he's doing it again. Derek! Hey, Derek! I know you're f***ing with me, dude. Derek! Derek! I'm talking to you, man.
A dark, shadowy figure can be seen drifting behind the doorway that opens up to her attic. Her first instinct was that it might be Derek, but now she's not so sure, and the fear is starting to creep in. Once the movement stops, she heads upstairs to show us exactly what she's dealing with.
Y'all wanted me to come up into the attic, okay? This is the wall that y'all saw some shit on. And these are the stairs. Like, my husband has all his clothes, of course. But if you look up there, there's no windows. I'm not going all the way up there because it scares the shit out of me. There's no windows. There's a sofa, some mirrors, a chair, his clothes, but there's no windows up here, okay? Alright, I'm getting the out of here because it feels...
She points out that there are no windows or anything else up there that could reasonably produce that kind of shadow illusion. The only thing present is a mirror, angled back toward the staircase. At one moment, what appears to be a pale, unsettling face is visible in the reflection, and then near the end of the footage, a faint shape darts rapidly across the frame before vanishing entirely. Some viewers have suggested it was just a fly passing in front of a light source and casting a brief shadow. That explanation feels like a stretch, though, since whatever appears seems like far more than a simple shadow, and it still doesn't account for the face in the mirror or that initial shadowy figure. Jess is now shaken, left questioning whether this truly is her old friend Derek reaching out from beyond, or whether something far more sinister has made its way into her home. Office work. On June 7th, 2020, an office worker was wrapping up her shift at around 6:40 in the evening alongside a colleague, the two of them finishing things off before heading home for the night. She stands up and walks over to check a report at the neighboring desk, her co-worker joining her, and that's when their security camera records something that will make your skin crawl. Both women are visibly shaken when a chair toward the back of the room suddenly begins moving on its own, and the desk even jolts upward slightly from the force of whatever caused it. They wasted no time. They bolted out of that office in a panic. Sharp-eyed viewers also picked up on something else entirely. In the mirror's reflection, you can see that the computer screen the woman had been working on had switched to a completely different window. Now here's the thing. Even if the desk had shifted physically, something would still have needed to physically click and move the mouse to change what was displayed on that screen. After gathering themselves in the adjoining room, one of the women heads back in to grab her belongings before leaving, and she can actually be heard speaking aloud, asking for forgiveness, fully convinced the office is haunted. Still rattled from everything, she jumps at the slightest thing. The women also reveal this isn't an isolated incident. Strange occurrences have happened here before. So is this office truly haunted? I'll leave that one entirely up to you. Our next clip comes from the account shown here on screen. The account is run by a man named Marcus, an Uber Eats driver who has spent close to 4 years delivering food for a living. He says that in all that time behind the wheel, driving through unfamiliar places at all hours of the night, nothing out of the ordinary had ever happened to him, until one delivery changed everything. Late one evening, while making his way toward a customer's address, Marcus realized the route was taking him through a stretch of road, flanked on both sides by cemeteries. He didn't think too much of it at first, and kept driving without a second thought. But as he passed through that section, his interior camera picked up something that would send chills down anyone's spine. Something appears to pass right into the vehicle, and what makes it so unsettling is just how fast it occurs. Marcus himself says he felt nothing at the time, and every single window in the car was shut tight. But the night wasn't over yet. After completing the drop-off and handing the food to the customer, he came back to find one of his windows shaking. Deeply unnerved by the movement, he climbed out to investigate, and that's when the situation took a turn for the worse.
I usually Uber eating, dropping off some food. I swear, this whole address gotta be set by something. Right? I see this again. I'm just not gonna accept it. I'll tell you that. Just wanna make sure I'm not tripping. Make sure I'm not tripping. So, I'm dropping off the DoorDash, the Uber eating. I can't even get my daggone company straight. And you're gonna see a vibration. You're gonna see tapping at the window. You're definitely gonna hear it. What the fuck? What the fuck was... Hell no. Hell no. What the fuck? I'm not tripping. No, I'm not tripping. Oh, hell no, hell no, hell no, hell no, hell no, hell no, hell no. Okay. What the? Oh. No, no. Oh hell, what the fuck was shit? Shit at me. Shit. Oh, hell, no. Hell. Oh, no. Nope. No. No.
A shoe sitting on the ground nearby begins sliding around with no explanation. Then, just moments after that, the interior door handle starts to move, as though something unseen is attempting to push it open from within. And then, the door swings open by itself. Marcus became firmly convinced that something dark had followed him away from that cemetery stretch. Shaken to his core, he jumps back into the car and floors it out of there. He says that ever since that night, he won't go anywhere near a cemetery once the sun goes down, and his biggest fear is that whatever came into that car may still be with him. So what's your take on this one? If something like this had happened to you while driving solo in the middle of the night, what would you have done? Drop your thoughts in the In 2020, a TikTok user named Rebecca posted a clip that seemed to document something nobody could quite explain. The backstory was this. Rebecca's mom had been out on a hike when she stumbled upon a stunning abandoned house tucked away in the surrounding wilderness. Intrigued, she spent several minutes wandering around the property before taking out her phone and filming a short video to send to her daughter. But when Rebecca sat down to watch the footage, she spotted something disturbing lurking in one of the windows. It sent a genuine chill straight down her spine.
This is in Carmel. This great old house. Someone told me that it's the Murphy house. I don't know who the Murphys were, but I don't think they've lived here for a while because it looks pretty deserted. But it must have been gorgeous in its stay. Absolutely, I could just imagine walking around here in some fancy dress or something and just...
As her mom made her way around the exterior of the house, she had absolutely no clue that something inside was watching her every step. In the final moment before the camera panned away from a particular window, a small, pale face became visible, seemingly peering out into the yard. It appeared to belong to a young child, and what made it even more deeply unsettling were its dark, hollow eyes, which stayed fixed in Rebecca's mom's direction as she continued moving along. Whoever or whatever it was, it tracked her silently the entire time. She never once sensed a presence while she was there, yet there's simply no getting around the fact that something was waiting upstairs. If the property had truly been empty all along, then who or what was inside? On March 24th, 2025, a night security guard named Miguel found himself working alone at an abandoned elementary school on the outskirts of Managua, Nicaragua. The building had sat empty for more than a year, but it still contained valuables worth protecting, so Miguel had been brought on to keep watch and to look after 4 stray dogs that had made the property their home. What gave the place an even darker edge was its history. Long before classrooms ever filled those halls, the land had served as a site during the Nicaraguan Civil War, where countless soldiers were reportedly burned alive. Then one quiet night, mid-patrol, Miguel spotted something deeply wrong inside one of the classrooms. See for yourself. He managed to snap a photo, and when he looked back at it later, a pale, ghostly face was staring out at him from behind a crumbling wall. Shaken but not ready to walk away, he started recording his shifts shortly after, and what his camera picked up next was far more disturbing.
De hecho, por aquí inicio porque por acá me queda cerca la torre de control. Si veo algo o me pasa algo acá, yo salgo corriendo a mi torre de control y ahí me enllavo. Pero como les seguía diciendo, este lugar es un poco sano, probablemente se vaya a abrir. ¿Ves? Ahí está, sabía yo, siempre a esta hora se abre. Entonces, ¿qué es eso que se escucha? ¿Qué es eso que se escucha? Bueno.
Doors swinging open with no one near them, shadowy figures drifting through the darkened hallways, but the situation only kept getting worse. On one occasion, a dark figure came hurtling toward him from above. On another, a chair scraped itself across the floor directly behind him.
Que revisen el rondín. Como pueden ver, pues está un poco descuidada porque aquí han guardado las cosas que el colegio antes usaba. Me escuché algo, pero no sé qué fue. Bueno, pues la 100 puta. Uy, fue la 100 puta. No joda. Ojalá que lo haya grabado.
The lights began to strobe violently, and then a thunderous bang rattled a nearby window.
Del asustado que estoy. Ahora mira, mira cuando yo me alejo. Mira. Mira, mira, ¿ya viste? Mira. Ahora mira cuando me acerco. Mira. Nada. 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 Ahora mira ahorita que me...
At that point, Miguel was done going it alone. He demanded backup immediately. Whatever was haunting that school, an Instagram user posted a video allegedly documenting a deeply disturbing encounter during a trip into a remote woodland. The clip captures a series of strange occurrences, including what seemed to be objects shifting on their own, generating an unsettling mood that spread rapidly across social media. The video has been circulated widely, though neither its authenticity nor the cause of the events shown has been confirmed by any independent source.
Astagfirullahaladzim. Kuntilanak. Wih. Kuntilanak. Kabur. Ih, kenapa ini kameranya langsung ngeblur? La haula wala quwwata.
Based on the story attached to the footage, on October 12th, 2019, Liang Wei and Chen Jiu ventured into the Himalayan forest in China's Sichuan province, drawn there by local folklore suggesting the area was cursed. People living nearby were said to have steered clear of the woods for years, convinced that something sinister had taken place there. Determined to see things for themselves, the two brought recording equipment and set off into the secluded trees. As they pushed deeper in and arrived at an old wooden platform, they reportedly sensed something shift in their environment. The air, they claimed, grew strangely oppressive, and the usual chorus of wildlife gradually died away until the entire forest fell into total silence. Shortly after, they described nearby objects appearing to move on their own for no discernible reason, leaving them with the overwhelming feeling of being observed. When one of them directed the camera under the wooden structure, the footage appeared to capture what looked like a still human face lurking in the shadows below. Shaken by what they saw, the two retreated immediately and called the local authorities. The account claims that officers arrived a few hours later and identified the remains as belonging to a young woman who had gone missing years before in an unsolved case. It goes on to allege that investigators could not determine how she ended up beneath the platform or how much time had passed since she was placed there. According to the story, the site was subsequently sealed off from the public, and the investigation was eventually closed without resolution. Our next story comes from Mexico, and it's the kind of thing that might make you think very carefully before unlocking your front door after dark. A couple is jolted awake by violent, thunderous banging on their door, loud enough that the walls themselves seem to tremble. The husband grabs his phone and heads downstairs to face whatever is outside, his wife right there at his side. Then he calls out asking who's there, and the response stops them both cold. See for yourself what was captured.
Tranquila, ¿eh? ¿Qué quieres?
Por favor, ábreme.
Oye, escuchas.
Ábreme ya. Apúrate, ándale.
¿Qué quieres?
Johnny, ábreme.
No te voy a abrir. No te voy a abrir.
Ábreme ya.
Calma la niña. Tranquila, mami. No te voy a abrir. Vete.
Johnny,
Oye, no manches, ¿viste?
ábreme.
Vete. Esto es impresionante. Lárgate de aquí. No te voy a abrir, lárgate.
Por favor, ábreme.
Lárgate. Tú no perteneces aquí. Vete.
Did you hear that? According to the husband, the voice coming from beyond that door is a dead ringer for his wife, matching her exact tone, her rhythm, even the way she carries her words.
Por favor, ábreme.
There's just one enormous problem with that. His wife isn't outside. She's standing inches away from him, right there in the house. This kind of entity is referred to as a mimic, a predatory creature that borrows the voices of people you love and uses them as bait to get you to open the door. When it figures out the deception isn't landing, it abandons the act entirely. Pay close attention to what you hear at the very end of this clip. That voice doesn't gradually change. It snaps in an instant from the wife's familiar sound to something deep, distorted, and unmistakably inhuman. It was done pretending. Now it was furious. Had he swung that door open believing it was someone he knew? What exactly would have stepped inside? That's for you to figure out. The video that follows, a group of nurses make their way into a section of their hospital referred to as the Old ER, a floor that has sat completely abandoned for years. Numerous patients lost their lives there, among them several children. As a result, staff members have long suspected the area may be haunted. One evening, a handful of nurses on the night shift decided to wander up to the floor simply to pass the time. What they had no way of knowing was that something absolutely terrifying was waiting for them up there. This is the footage they captured themselves.
You guys, haunted ER?
What about it?
We're gonna go.
No.
Haunted ER, haunted ER. I'm really good too. Oh my god, my head is huge.
Stop.
Chloe, so I can't even.
Camera.
Huh?
It's just close to the camera.
Yeah, you're right. We got a chance for the haunted ER.
Oh god.
Feels like
I'm not excited about this. I didn't even get a finish eating my sandwich.
it feels like we're getting on a.
Nervous.
You nervous? Why are you nervous?
Because it's haunted.
Are you nervous?
Yes.
Do you see anything?
Anybody in there? Oh. Oh, it's a doll. Oh. Yeah, it's just a little doll. They want us training.
Oh, it's a training doll.
Put it here.
It's still weird though.
It's weird. Nah, look at her.
That's so weird.
So weird. Never make this thing fun.
Oh, that's freaky. Let's go. Upstairs. It's way upstairs. Yeah, that's upstairs. Sorry, I thought you were. I felt you were behind. It's just freaky. You guys wave in the camera or in the reflection.
They like see me? God, I feel like I'm gonna see.
Oh, that's the same room.
Oh. God, stop. Oh.
What? Look at me.
Oh. The lights are on.
That's weird.
Go in. Go in.
I want to go in. No, go in.
Go in. Go in. Figure out why the lights are on. I don't like
Who
that.
cares
I
why
don't
the
like
lights
that. Do
They
it.
look like evil eyes. You guys need to come in with me.
Yeah, of course you're gonna go in with you.
Thanks. Ooh, this feels weird. Is that you?
Yeah.
This room feels weird. Ooh. The curtain moved.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did. It moved.
Shut up.
It
No,
moved. It
didn't.
moved. Yes, it did.
Why would
It did.
curtain move?
How did you not see that? Oh, okay. Ooh.
As one of the nurses moves further into the darkened room, a hospital curtain abruptly shifts, with nothing nearby to cause it. Completely rattled, she bolts out of the room as fast as she can. Then, just a few seconds after that, a cane topples over on its own without anyone touching it. The next piece of footage, shot by a different nurse, captures that exact same moment from an entirely different vantage point. See for yourself what they recorded.
What? What? No, curtain moved. No, it didn't. Shut up. No, it didn't. Why would it curtain?
The nurses in this footage believe the disturbance may have been the spirit of a child who died in that very room not long ago. That said, they also acknowledge it could have been some other kind of presence altogether, whether supernatural or otherwise. Either way, everyone involved walked away genuinely shaken by the whole experience. This one actually appeared on my channel a good while back, but I figured it deserved another look, since a lot of you watching now have probably never come across it. Tim, the man behind the upload, posted it to YouTube back in November 2011, and it documents a trip he and two friends made to an abandoned property they'd been hearing rumors about for the better part of a year. Word around the area was that the place had been used by satanic worshippers as a site for rituals. Wanting to see whether any of that held up, the trio decided to go check it out for themselves. The house alone is enough to put you on edge, but the moment that really gets under your skin comes much further into the footage. See for yourself.
Guys, we gotta go, man. We gotta go.
Whoa.
Do you hear that? Oh my God! Go! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh, the police are open. Okay, you gotta go. This door's locked. Get open! There's scratches. Go. Help! What's happening? Get off! What's going on? Hang on. What's... John? Get off! What? Dude, John. Okay. Did you hear that? Dude, fuck. Oh my God. Oh, shit. Who is it? Who is it? John. Oh my God. Go! Guys, I'm sorry.
It's fine.
John.
As they push deeper into the building, the sound of what seems to be an accordion suddenly reverberates through the empty rooms. Then another bizarre rattling noise cuts through the air, sending all three of them sprinting toward the exit. In the chaos of trying to get out, one of Tim's companions, a guy named John, reportedly gets attacked by something none of them can identify before the group eventually reaches their car and gets off the property. Fortunately, John walked away without any serious injuries, and everyone made it home in one piece. Whether those strange noises and the supposed attack were the real deal is hard to say just from watching the clip. Still, this is the kind of old-school exploration footage that has stuck around in people's memories for years, purely because of how raw and unsettling the whole thing feels. Would you have pressed on? Or would that accordion have been your cue to leave? Driving through a rainstorm is nerve-wracking enough on its own, but every now and then, an ordinary travel clip ends up capturing something nobody picked up on in the moment. That's apparently exactly what went down with this footage posted to Reddit back in April 2023. In the video, a passenger is casually recording the road ahead while the weather outside is absolutely miserable. Heavy rain, thunder, the whole package, and for a while, nothing seems off. Then something deeply unsettling creeps into the frame. If you look closely at the footage, there's what appears to be a hand jutting out from above the windshield on the exterior of the car. The driver himself claims he was completely unaware of anything unusual during the trip. It wasn't until the person filming went back and re-watched the clip that they noticed this bizarre detail, and it shook them. Several people in the comments were quick to point out that this couldn't belong to any ordinary human being. Given the driving speed and the brutal weather conditions, the idea of someone physically clinging to the roof of a moving car seems nearly impossible. So what exactly did the camera pick up that night? A trick of the eye, distorted by rainfall and a particular camera angle, or something that doesn't have a rational explanation? Security footage captured at a location in Peru, an old well on the property that locals claim is haunted, shows something that left the guards there completely shaken. Late one night, they began hearing unusual noises coming from the direction of the well, prompting them to head outside and check it out. They found nothing. No one was there. But when they pulled up the camera footage afterward, what they saw was both terrifying and nearly impossible to believe. Initially, what looks like a person can be spotted sitting right beside the well. The figure then shifts and turns translucent, seemingly peering down into the well's depths. Moments later, a second semi-transparent shape materializes and drifts away from the well entirely. Ever since it surfaced, this footage has been regarded by many as one of the most convincing recordings ever made of what appears to be an actual ghost caught clearly on camera. Here's a clip featuring an infant crawling along the floor when something appears to tug at its leg. Now, with most videos like this involving babies, I'd typically chalk it up to the child just moving awkwardly, nothing worth getting worked up about. But the angle at which this little one's leg gets pulled back looks genuinely strange, and the baby clearly seems distressed by whatever is behind it. As always though, that's for you to judge. Staying overnight at your grandparents' place is typically a warm, nostalgic kind of experience. For TikTok creator Sophie Collins though, one particular visit took a turn she'd almost certainly like to put behind her. Sophie uploaded a clip of herself laying in bed one night, attempting to drift off to sleep, when something near the doorway suddenly caught her attention. Peering through the slim crack of the door is Sophie's grandmother, completely silent, just staring into the darkened room. What makes it especially creepy is that even when Sophie aims her phone directly at the doorway, her grandmother doesn't flinch, speak, or move along. She just stays right there, watching. It's a genuinely unsettling piece of footage. Now, while it's impossible to know from the video alone what was actually going through her grandmother's mind, this one stands apart from most entries here. There's really no strong case for anything supernatural being at play. Whatever was really behind it, it amounts to an incredibly awkward moment that just so happened to be recorded. So what's your take? Was there a perfectly reasonable explanation for what her grandmother was doing? Or does watching this leave you with more questions than it answers? This next clip was recorded by a home security camera. Rianne explains that her young daughter has a passion for doing hair, so she keeps a styling mannequin head set up downstairs. On this particular evening, while Rianne was relaxing in the living room with the TV on, something absolutely terrifying came out of nowhere.
Everything makes sense. And you're going up what they call the bridge. You're doing this outing, and this is good. And the next one, well, it's not quite as good. It didn't quite make sense to you, but you know, you're going to pay for the next one, so you do that one.
The bridge, it's a metaphor. Your spirituality, your relationship to others. The person is supposed to become more able as they go up the bridge. And then there are the mosquitoes operating cases.
The mannequin head started moving in a bizarre and unsettling manner. Initially, nobody caught it, but when it shifted again, both Rianne and her daughter witnessed it with their own eyes. Completely horrified, her daughter bolted straight toward her mom, screaming at the top of her lungs.
Jumped off the couch, ran over to me. I'm frantically telling my husband, oh my God, she just looked at me. My daughter's covering her mouth. I'm like, oh my God. He's looking behind.
Rian says they checked behind the couch to see if there was any logical explanation for the mannequin's strange behavior. They came up empty, so the mystery still stands. What do you think was actually responsible for moving that mannequin? The following video was recorded on the evening of April 25th of 2004 at 6:39 p.m., somewhere in a rural hillside location. In the video, a man with a camcorder caught sight of something hovering in the dusk sky that stopped him cold, something he clearly hadn't expected to find, while standing out in a field where the only other sound was the distant clanking of livestock bells. You can hear the shock in his voice immediately, that genuine, unscripted panic of someone who doesn't know what they're looking at and knows it. He keeps trying to hold the camera steady, but his hands won't cooperate. Watch.
Cago en la madre que lo parió. ¿Qué es eso? Fíjate. Joder, aquí no hay trucaje, esto es la hostia, ¿eh? Mira, desaparece y vuelve. Mira otro. Ahí hay otro que está dando, mira. Mira, mira.
What he's filmed are 3 luminous, face-like objects hovering against the pale evening sky, each one with 2 dark markings above a distinct red horizontal band, giving them an almost cartoonish, mask-like appearance that somehow makes them more unsettling, not less. A second object appears beside the first without warning, and then a third is found hovering low near the tree line of the hillside, closer and more defined than the others. Some viewers believe these are orbs or interdimensional craft exhibiting structured, intelligent form. The consistent face pattern across all 3 objects is the detail that keeps coming back in discussions. Others argue they're atmospheric plasma phenomena or lens artifacts amplified by the digital zoom. But skeptics have a harder time explaining the third object near the tree line, which holds its shape more clearly than the others, against a darker background. The year also matters here, 2004, consumer camcorder footage. No easy digital compositing for most people. If you focus on the moment the second object simply appears with no approach, no trajectory, it's just there. So what were they? In this next clip, a group of teenage guys are spending what starts out as a quiet night outside, hanging out in the yard, relaxing in the hammock, ukulele music drifting through the dark, when something in the distance pulls their attention in a direction none of them expected. It's the kind of footage that's been circulating in paranormal communities for a while now, partly because of how it starts, and partly because of how fast everything falls apart once they see it. There's no build-up to warn them. One moment the night is calm, and the next, it isn't. Watch.
How was that?
What?
Hold up. Dude, is that a person?
We should probably.
Close it, please lock it. Oh my god.
Fucking lock that shit, dude.
Dude, okay.
I think we left someone's phone up there.
Yeah, we left someone.
It was fun.
It doesn't matter. Bro, we'll get it later.
Oh my fucking god.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's scary. Get back. Oh my god, fuck. What the fuck is this? Is the side door locked?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Holy shit. So, oh god, check if the side door is locked.
Wait, Nick, did you lock the door? Did you lock it? Did you lock this door? I don't want to get close to the door. Holy crap. Fuck, make sure it's locked. Make sure it's locked. No, make sure it's locked. Make sure it's locked. Okay.
That is creepy as hell.
Dude.
What the fuck is that, dude?
This has like what the fuck is that, dude? It's going on. It's going around.
Like, get over here.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. That.
Wait, is the door locked?
Yes,
is the door locked?
Is it out there?
Dude, it's over there. It's over there.
Oh my.
Is the garage door closed? Is that?
Dude.
Go.
What starts as a single pulsating red light in the pitch-black yard becomes something far harder to explain. First one pair of glowing red eyes, then a thin, dark silhouette attached to them, moving with a swaying, unnatural rhythm that doesn't match anything you'd expect from a person. Then the appendages appear, multiple limbs, each tipped with its own red glow, and then more eyes emerge from the surrounding darkness, flanking the first figure. Many believe this is either a short horror film shot in found footage style, or an ARG, an alternate reality game where the line between fiction and real experience is intentionally blurred. ARGs have been used for years as a way to create immersive horror narratives, and some of the most well-known paranormal-seeming content online has turned out to be exactly that. Planned, written, and performed, but designed to feel like something that actually happened to someone. Others, though, think the creature design pulls from something older, a figure with hollow red eyes, unnaturally thin, moving in ways the body shouldn't be able to, tracks closely with descriptions of what some traditions call a flesh gate, a modern term used in paranormal communities to describe entities that mimic the shape of a person without quite getting it right. Staged or not, the image of that thing standing motionless in the dark room, staring directly at the camera, is the kind of visual that tends to stay with you. So, real encounter, horror short, or something in between? What do you think that thing actually was? In this next clip, two women are filming outside at dusk near what appears to be a small shrine or spirit house, the kind you'd find across Southeast Asia, placed to honor local spirits and keep the land at peace. The location looks like Malaysia or Indonesia, and the low light gives everything that deep, almost unnatural blue tone that smartphone cameras produce at night. One woman pans slowly across the sandy ground, past trees and a thin metal post, moving toward the corner of a white wall. And that's when she sees it. Watch. A small, dark shape clings to the surface of the wall, vaguely humanoid, with what looks like a head and limbs, pressed flat against the white paint. Many believe what she captured was a toil, a small childlike spirit from Malay and Indonesian folklore, said to be kept by those practicing black magic and often described as a dark, clinging figure. Others aren't sure, pointing out the low light and motion blur. But whatever it was ugly enough to send her running. This next video comes from a residential security camera, a Nest doorbell camera mounted on a covered porch, pointed out toward the street late at night. For weeks, according to the homeowner, this camera had been triggering motion alerts at odd hours, notifications going off at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., with no obvious explanation for what set them off. Each time they'd check the app, the footage would show exactly what you're about to see. Watch. If you concentrate on the left side of the screen, you'll notice what appears to be something slowly slithering across the yard. It doesn't move like a person, and from this distance it's difficult to tell exactly what it is. In paranormal folklore, reports occasionally describe shadow entities or serpentine apparitions, dark, crawling forms said to move unnaturally close to the ground before vanishing from sight. While there is no scientific evidence that such entities exist, similar descriptions have appeared in eyewitness accounts for decades, particularly in videos recorded at night, where the source of the movement can't be clearly identified. Whether it was an ordinary animal briefly crossing the yard, a trick created by the camera's infrared sensor, or something that kept returning night after night just long enough to trigger the motion alerts. The homeowner never did figure out what kept passing through the edge of the frame. In this next clip, a woman is walking the exterior of what she identifies as the Murphy house in Carmel, a large old stone manor with a steeply pitched roof, ivy-covered walls, and the kind of quiet that comes from years of neglect. She's filming as she goes, narrating in a casual, almost admiring tone, talking about how beautiful the place must have been in its day. The house looks completely deserted, no signs of life anywhere. Watch.
Look what I found. This is in Carmel. This great old house. Someone told me that it's the Murphy house. I don't know who the Murphys were, but I don't think they've lived here for a while because it looks pretty deserted. But it must have been gorgeous in its day. It's absolutely, I could just imagine walking around here in some fancy dress or something, and just amazing. It's just beautiful.
As the camera pans slowly past a second-story dormer window, something is standing inside. A small, dark, humanoid figure, motionless, positioned as if looking out, visible for just a moment before the camera moves on. She doesn't seem to notice it at all. That's what makes it harder to dismiss. Some viewers think it's a doll or a decorative mannequin left behind by former residents, but others find it strange that something would be placed in an upstairs window of an otherwise empty house, facing outward, as if waiting to be seen. What do you think it was? This next clip was recorded inside a hospital room at St. Paul's Hospital in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, a facility that's been in operation since 1894 and has long had a reputation among staff for strange activity in its corridors and wards. Whoever recorded this was a patient or visitor, filming the room during the day, bright light filtering through the window blind, while medical equipment hummed steadily in the background. Nothing about the room looked wrong at first, just a bedside dresser, a few supplies, a blue Gatorade bottle sitting among them. Then something on that bottle caught their attention. Watch. During the second zoom, if you look closely at the curved upper surface of the bottle, you can make out a dark, slender, humanoid figure reflected in it, silhouetted against the window light, standing completely still. Some think it's nothing more than a distorted reflection of an object in the room. Others aren't so sure, pointing out that what's reflected looks distinctly upright and shaped like a person. Shadow people, dark humanoid figures reported across cultures for centuries, are among the most commonly described paranormal encounters in hospitals specifically. What was standing in that room? This next clip was filmed at night outside a Star Mart, somewhere in a Spanish-speaking region, where a crowd had already gathered along the roadside before whoever shot this even arrived. Something was being transported on a red flatbed truck, something large enough that people had stopped their cars, pulled out their phones, and started shouting over each other just to get a better look. The energy in the crowd isn't fear exactly. It's the kind of loud, chaotic excitement that comes when people see something they genuinely can't explain. Watch.
Puta, si hueputa en medio había quedado.
If you focus on the roadway just after the truck passes, you'll notice what appears to be a man suddenly standing in the middle of the road. He doesn't seem to walk into frame from either side. Instead, he appears almost instantly, as though he stepped out from the narrow gap between the passing trucks, or from somewhere that shouldn't have been physically possible. That's the moment that has left viewers divided. Some believe it's simply a trick of perspective. The moving truck temporarily blocks the camera's view, allowing someone already on the opposite side to emerge at precisely the right moment, creating the illusion that they materialized out of nowhere. Others aren't convinced. In paranormal circles, sudden human-shaped appearances like this are sometimes described as phantom pedestrians or crisis apparitions, figures that seem to manifest briefly before disappearing just as quickly, often on roads or busy highways. What makes this clip so difficult to dismiss is how little time there is to process it. One moment the road is empty, the next, there's what appears to be someone standing exactly where the truck had just been moments before. Was it simply a man hidden from view by the passing vehicles? Or did the camera capture something that wasn't there until it suddenly was? People are still slowing the footage down frame by frame, and many still can't agree on what they're actually looking at. Now, in this next clip, a woman is sitting at a table enjoying what she describes as the best brigadeiro of her life, a late Mother's Day treat from a local dessert shop, when something she didn't notice in the moment makes its way into the footage. She's relaxed, cheerful, talking directly to the camera as she unwraps a small gift that came along with her order, a compact mirror. Nothing about her energy suggests anything is off. Watch.
Gente, eu vou comer com vocês o melhor brigadeiro da vida, que é da doceria da Lulu. E olha que bonitinho que eu ganhei no Dia das Mães atrasado, mas ela me deu. É um espelhinho de bom, deixa eu abrir e mostrar. Olha, que lindo. Deixa eu abrir. Ai, meu Deus. Amei. E agora vamos provar. Eu sou, tipo assim, viciada nesse brigadeiro dela. É simplesmente o melhor brigadeiro que eu já comi na minha vida. Nossa, gente. É muito bom. Muito bom.
As she flips the mirror open, for just a fraction of a second, a handful of frames, easy to miss in real time, something pale and vaguely face-shaped appears in the mirror. Whatever was in that mirror, she genuinely didn't see it in the moment. Some viewers immediately pointed to the idea of mirror spirits, a concept that appears across multiple traditions and cultures, the belief that reflective surfaces can briefly reveal things from outside our visible range, entities that exist just at the edge of what we can perceive. Skeptics, on the other hand, argue it's a simple case of pareidolia, the brain finding a face in an abstract smear of light and shadow. A few frames of ambiguity, but if you slow it down and look closely at that reflection, something is looking back. What do you think it was? The following videos were captured by a woman who's been documenting what she calls her poltergeist diaries, a series of increasingly unsettling encounters happening at her workplace, an office she now refers to as anything but ordinary. She'd been sharing updates with her followers, building a record of small, creeping strangeness. And in this first clip, she's filming late, alone, moving through the building with her phone out when she notices something down the hallway near the break room. Watch.
So, y'all have been following my polter diaries here lately. So I'm pretty sure there's something standing in the doorway to the break room. Am I crazy? Or is that somebody standing there? I don't... Do y'all see that?
The camera peers around the edge of a dark, reflective surface and catches a tall, thin shape standing completely still at the far end of the dimly lit hallway, and her reaction says everything. Her voice drops from calm narration to a terrified whisper before she lets out a raw, piercing scream and the footage cuts off. Whether that shape was a chair, a pedestal, or something else entirely, her scream wasn't performed. Some viewers insisted it was just office furniture catching the light wrong, while others pointed out that the object doesn't have the softened edges or visible legs you'd expect from a chair. It just stands there, occupying the frame like it belongs. That's what makes it hard to dismiss. Not long after that clip circulated, followers began asking whether the lights in that hallway were connected to anything, wondering if she'd somehow triggered them herself. She came back with a direct answer: watch.
So, since y'all thought I was doing the lights, let me show you these. This one does nothing. This one turns on this extra light. So,
She flips both switches on the wall, one by one, demonstrating clearly that neither controls the bright stationary light glowing in the dark hallway behind her. The fluorescent ceiling lights respond to the second switch, but that orb-like light sits untouched, unchanging, against the dark blue wall. Some viewers immediately suggested it was a security light or an exit sign on a separate circuit. Others weren't convinced, pointing out that the light's intensity and position don't match anything typically mounted in an office corridor, and that she didn't seem to know what it was either, ending the clip with a flat, exhausted "so," as if the demonstration raised more questions than it answered. She'd also mentioned she'd stopped working alone in that building after everything that happened, which brings us to her next update. She returned to the office with a coworker, hoping the company would make whatever was happening stop. Everything had been quiet. Watch.
hey guys, this is just an update to let you all know that I'm okay. I'm back at work today, but I'm no longer working by myself. I have someone here with me. Everything's been fine so far. We haven't had anything today, so and here we go. What was that? What? It came from the hallway. Oh my god. No. Oh my god.
Right in the middle of her calm update, mid-sentence in fact, an explosively loud bang erupts from the hallway, violent and metallic, and both women react instantly. She moves toward the doorway and peers down the long, empty, brightly lit corridor. Nothing, no one, no visible source for a sound that loud. Two people heard the same thing, and neither of them could explain it. Some researchers who study poltergeist activity describe this kind of escalation, from visual anomalies to unexplained sounds, as a pattern of intensifying engagement, as though whatever presence exists in a space begins responding more forcefully when it feels observed. What would you do if the hallway you just cleared came back that loud? Now, in this next clip, a man is moving through his house at night, phone in hand, when the space around him starts doing things that have no easy explanation. It's unclear exactly what brought him to this part of the house, but from the moment he pushes shut a large panel on the wall, something shifts in the energy of the place, and it doesn't stop there. Almost immediately after that panel slams shut with a loud bang, something catches his attention. Watch. A soccer ball rolls across the floor completely on its own. He barely has time to process that before panning down a long, dark hallway where a small, pale figure in a white gown steps out from the corner. The moment he sees it, he hears a high-pitched, distorted child's laugh that sounds just slightly off from anything natural. Many investigators warn that childlike apparitions aren't always what they seem. Some believe darker entities imitate children, because people instinctively lower their guard around them, making the encounter feel less threatening, at least at first. Despite every instinct telling him to leave, he walks toward the figure, which, if you ask most people, is the last thing you should do. When he reaches the first door and tries the handle, it's locked, and the moment he pulls his hand back, a deep, grating, scraping sound erupts from somewhere unseen, and the video cuts off. Across countless paranormal reports, investigators describe this as escalation, subtle movement giving way to visual manifestations, then direct interaction intended to provoke fear or curiosity. Whether that's what happened here is impossible to prove, but one thing is hard to ignore. Whatever was waiting at the end of that hallway never actually came toward him. It got him to come to it. Quick thing before we continue, all of our videos are now available on Spotify too, so if that's somewhere you already find yourself late at night, every compilation we've made is waiting there for you. Whichever way you'd rather watch, the link's in the description. Now back to the video. The following video is about a man who lives on 300 acres of swampland in a place called Dinsmore, land his family bought cheap from a paper mill that operated in the 1800s. Land that he claims was originally stolen from Native Americans and sits directly on top of an old burial ground. According to him, he's not the only one who believes something is wrong out there. He says local police officers will draw straws to avoid responding to calls on the property, and when they do show up, they won't set foot past the property line. That detail alone is hard to shake, but it's what happened to him the previous night that sent him outside in the dark, bare-chested and terrified, phone in hand. He says he walked off the porch to check on the chickens when he heard two things. First, someone calling his name, and then a voice saying, "Help me," from somewhere in the darkness. Watch.
Y'all, I just walked off the porch and I came out here to check on the chickens. I just heard, first off, I heard my name. Second off, it sounded like somebody was saying, "Help me." Hold on. Hold on.
Hey. Help. I need help. Eric, can you help me?
What you hear coming out of that blackness is a clear, disembodied male voice, distinct, intelligible, calling out, "Hey," then "Help," then "I need help," then the name Derek, and finally, "Can you help me?" There's no figure visible, no source, just open darkness and that pleading voice drifting in from the trees. Some viewers immediately thought of a classic piece of folklore, sometimes called the Dark Call, the idea that certain malevolent entities will lure people away from safety by mimicking distress, using familiar names or cries for help to draw someone deeper into the woods. Others think it's entirely possible a real person was out there, maybe someone from the abandoned trailer a quarter-mile onto the land that he mentions people frequently break into. Skeptics have both explanations to choose from, but the fact that the voice knew his name is the part that's difficult to talk around. The following morning, he sat down and laid out the full context. Watch.
So last night was insane. I told you, look, I live on 300 acres of swampland. Just a little background for everybody. 300 acres of swampland. We bought it for a penny an acre from the paper mill that was here back in the 1800s. The paper mill stole it from the Native Americans. Everything that everything is built around out here is on top of Indian burial ground. So I'm not the only one to have had this experience. Other people have had these experiences. You could just talk to the local people here in Dinsmore. They've had the same experiences out here. In fact, it's so bad. Police officers will draw straws or argue about who has to come down here when something happens. My family used to be crazy. There used a lot of drinking, drug use, and, you know, just abuse and stuff like that. So cops would be out here all the time, but they would not come on the property. They will only meet you at the end of the property. That's how fucking scary it is out here. So today we're going to investigate. I still think that crackheads wandered up from the property. It is about a quarter of a mile into the property, but that doesn't mean anything. We get crackheads, heroin addicts, whatever. They're the new crackheads, meth addicts, they're the new crackheads. We get them out here all the time trying to steal stuff because we used to run a business out here. So I'm going to investigate a trailer that's on the edge of the property today to see that they steal out of all the time. They stole the copper out of it. They busted the windows out of it. So we're going to go see inside that trailer if there's any evidence of anybody staying in it or anything like that. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. Peace.
He describes the property as deeply haunted, says the paranormal activity is so severe that even seasoned local officers refuse to enter, and admits that his own first theory is that it might have been trespassers, possibly people staying in that abandoned trailer on the land. So that same day, he decided to go take a look.
Okay, so we are out here exactly where everybody said this thing was standing. This is the spot right here. Directly at this spot. There's the track. I see no footprints. So this is the exact spot right here, guys. The chickens in the background. So I don't know. This is in this area right here is where it was standing. Is where everybody said it was standing. I couldn't see it while standing just about over there. There we go. And so we keep this stuff like this locked. We keep stuff like this locked because, like I said, crackheads. Let's check to make sure it's locked. Door's locked. This is the trailer that I was worried about. Did you fucking see that, bro? Look, I'm telling. Okay, we're just gonna peek in. Oh my, what the fuck? There's walking around in this bro. Hello? Guess we're gonna have to climb in this. Probably should have brought my gun. Hello? Heard that shit. Hold on. It's happening all around me right now. Like it's the worst that it's ever been.
The research context around Dinsmore notes that the area has a long history of paranormal folklore and unexplained phenomena, and the most famous incident dates back to 1897, suggesting that whatever people believe is out there has been talked about for well over a century. Whether the voice in the dark was a person, something mimicking one, or something else entirely that this land has carried since long before his family ever bought it, no one knows. But what do you think? This next video was recorded on January 4th of 2026 by a hospital security guard working a night shift on the second floor of a medical facility, a floor that houses the ICU and a family waiting area. He'd been called up earlier for an emergency, and once that was handled, he decided to walk back down the hall toward the hospital chapel, a room he'd heard about from co-workers who swore strange things happened there regularly, though he'd personally never witnessed anything himself, and that was about to change. Watch.
So we are on the second floor now. Gotta be a little quiet up here because so the ICU is actually right in front of me is family waiting. Hey, what's up, Richard? Hey. How you doing? And right to the right is he's went back in the room. Hold on. I was gonna say that right next to family waiting is the chapel. I was gonna come in here anyway because people say that crazy things happen here all the time, but I'd never experienced anything, so I figured why not try? And of course, nothing's happening. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna sit right here and just wait. Holy hell, that scared the hell out of me. Oh, my heart is racing. Is that my shadow? Do y'all see a shadow on the wall, or is that just me? Oh, I gotta get the hell up out of here. Shit done, like I'm sweating now.
After sharing the footage, the guard revealed another detail that immediately caught people's attention. Long before it became part of the ICU, that entire floor had reportedly served as the hospital's psychiatric ward. According to staff members, one story has circulated for years. Several employees have claimed that a young child occasionally appears in the corridor, approaching people with a simple question. Will you play with me? They also describe the child carrying, or asking for, a small red ball. The image of a ghostly child with a red ball has become one of the most enduring motifs in modern paranormal reports. Investigators often note that toys, especially brightly colored balls, are frequently associated with alleged child hauntings because they're commonly used during investigations as so-called trigger objects, items believed by some to encourage interaction. Whether that's because of expectation, coincidence, or something genuinely unexplained remains a matter of debate. BC others believe the legend may have grown over time, passed from one generation of hospital staff to the next, until every unexplained sound or glimpse in the hallway became linked to the same story. Still, hospitals have long been places where folklore thrives. Decades of intense emotion, grief, hope, and loss naturally give rise to stories that linger long after the people involved are gone. Whether the guard captured evidence of the child his co-workers had described, or simply experienced an eerie coincidence in an old hospital, one question remains. If you heard a child's voice asking you to play in an empty hospital corridor after midnight, would you answer? The following clips all come from the same household, a Spanish-speaking woman who, at this point, seems less frightened by what's happening around her and more genuinely fed up with it. The activity has been building for a while, and she's started filming it, which is both brave and telling because what she's been capturing is hard to dismiss. In the first clip, she's up late at night waiting for bread to rise when she starts hearing noises coming from the living room. She films herself, announces she's alone, walks through to show the empty room, and then turns back toward the kitchen. Watch.
Esperando a que leo del pan, pero se empezaron a escuchar ruidos en la parte del living. Y estoy sola. No hay nadie. Miren. Literalmente no. Qué pesado, hermano. Qué ganas de romper las bolas que tiene. No, es muy rompebolas.
The metal kitchen utensils, hanging from the rack above the counter, are swinging on their own. Spatulas, a large spoon, scissors, all of them clanking and hitting each other in a rhythmic pattern, with nobody near them. Her reaction isn't screaming. She sounds annoyed, like this has happened before and she's running out of patience for it. That kind of exasperated tone is actually one of the more telling details here, because it suggests she's moved past the fear stage entirely. Many who followed cases like this point to that shift, from terror to frustration, as a sign that the activity has been going on long enough to feel almost routine. Some believe this type of poltergeist behavior, objects moving in the kitchen specifically, is connected to residual emotional energy, the idea that strong feelings tied to a space over time can build up and manifest physically. Others are more skeptical and would argue air pressure from an opened window or a distant vibration could set hanging utensils in motion, though explaining all of them swinging at once is a harder sell. Not long after, she and a companion return home one night from what she describes as a session, some kind of spiritual gathering, to find something waiting for them. Watch.
Llegamos a la sesión y en la pieza, la cual estaba apagada, está las luces LED prendidas y no sé si alcanzan ver esa silueta, sombra, no sé qué carajo es, pero hay alguien parado en la pieza y estamos literalmente nosotros dos acá. Estamos los dos acá, no hay chance de que alguien esté en la pieza, porque no hay nadie en la casa. No me parece casualidad que lo esté haciendo después de salir de la sesión. Igual la chica me dijo que esto podía pasar. Miren, para que vean que de verdad no hay nadie, ¿eh? Subimos lo más rápido que pudimos y no hay nadie en la casa. No, encima miren, el control está en la cama. No, qué bronca. Y ni siquiera lo puedo apagar.
Looking up at the building from the street, one window on an upper floor is glowing a solid red, and inside it, a dark head and shoulders silhouette is visible. But according to her, they're both standing outside on the street, and no one else has a key. There's another detail that many viewers missed on their first watch. Near the lower portion of the illuminated window, a much smaller figure, roughly the size of a young child or baby, appears to be present as well. When she switches on a light while continuing to film, the smaller shape briefly becomes reflected in the window, making it appear even more defined before disappearing into the glare. Whether those silhouettes were nothing more than reflections layered across the window, or whether someone, or something, was already inside the apartment waiting for them, is a question the footage never answers. In the next clip, she's in her bedroom during the day, starting to talk into her phone, when something off-camera catches her attention and she stops mid-sentence. Listen closely.
Buenas, ¿Qué hincha huevo? ¿Qué es, por favor? No, qué rompebola.
The bedroom door, which had been fully open, slams shut on its own with serious force, while she's standing in the next room watching it. No one is near it. Same house, same woman, same reaction. It's almost like she's dealing with a recurring presence that knows how to get on her nerves. That pattern of minor but deliberate disturbances, things chosen for their noise or their disruption, rather than their danger, lines up with what's often described as low-level intelligent haunting, activity that's reactive rather than random. The bedroom activity doesn't stop there. A static camera left on overnight in the same room, this time with another person in the bed, catches two separate things happening without anyone noticing. Watch closely.
Llegar como que ya con eso. No, me dice, mira, esto es algo serio, tengo que hacerlo. Bueno, adivina dónde terminó yendo. Claro. A mi casa, porque obviamente que al garchadero yo, mira, mis ángeles en el garchadero, no.
No pasó, no, está bien. Y ahora, bueno, como a mí no me puedo hacer rezos la media hora, a estar rezando.
Claro, en el garchadero. No.
Bueno, que es el espacio de mi casa, el espacio devocional.
No, pero escúchame, ¿por qué? El garchadero es así.
Sí, pero es comodísimo, tiene una cama, tiene todo lo que se necesita. Se puede acostar. Lo que no se puede.
If you focus on the mirror, what appears to be a dark figure briefly passes through the reflection before disappearing. No one in the room reacts, and there's nothing visible in the bedroom itself that clearly accounts for the movement. The mirror immediately became the center of the discussion. In many paranormal traditions, mirrors are believed to be more than ordinary household objects. Folklore from several cultures describes them as symbolic gateways or bridges through which spirits or negative entities can manifest. For that reason, Some spiritual practitioners specifically advise against placing mirrors directly opposite or in front of a bed, believing they can encourage unwanted paranormal activity. Some even warn that simply covering a mirror isn't enough, claiming that whatever is attached to it could uncover the covering or continue to use it regardless. There is, however, no scientific evidence supporting these beliefs, and many people regard them purely as cultural folklore. But according to the person sharing these clips, that wasn't the only time something appeared in the room. On another night, the same bedroom is once again being recorded by a static camera while she sleeps peacefully, completely unaware that anything unusual is happening. Watch. A tall, dark, clearly defined head and shoulders silhouette appears in the glass of the bedroom window, leaning into view from the right edge of the pane and holding its position while the person in the bed sleeps completely unaware. It's darker than any ambient reflection in the room, and it has a shape that's unmistakably human. Whether that figure is a trick of light, someone outside, or something else entirely, what's harder to ignore is that across all of these clips, the same home, the same woman, the same building irritation, whatever is in that space appears to be sticking around. But the bigger question isn't just what that reflection is, it's whether any of this is going to stop. Now in this next clip, a woman in Florida is home alone on what looks like an ordinary afternoon. Daylight streaming through the windows, her little dog Tula sitting calmly on the stairs, when she starts hearing something she can't explain. A music box melody, high-pitched and tinkling, playing clearly from somewhere inside the house. No one else is home. She picks up her phone and starts moving through the hallway, searching. Listen closely.
I'm home by myself. No, I don't think so. Tula, what was that? Oh, no. No, because I'm about to sit on the porch still calling it. Absolutely not.
The music plays for nearly half a minute before cutting off mid-melody, not fading, not winding down, just stopping. And that alone is unsettling. She checks every corner of the room, asks her dog Tula what it was, finds nothing that could account for it. No toy, no device, nothing. Music boxes aren't supposed to start on their own. And they're not supposed to stop like that either, mid-note, as if something decided it was done. Some viewers think a spirit was making itself known, drawn to the familiar comfort of a child's melody. Others suggest an attachment to the holiday decorations or the home itself. She doesn't wait around to find out. By the end of the clip, she's already unlocking the front door. So what do you think was playing that music, and why did it stop the second she got close enough to find it? Now in this next video, a couple say they've been hearing something that makes no sense at all. The sound of a baby crying coming from inside their apartment. Not outside, not through the walls, but from somewhere within their own home. It starts suddenly, continues for a few seconds, and then stops completely. And the strangest part is, it happens every single night. Watch this.
Hey. Yeah. Did you hear baby crying? No, I just opened the door. Oh, I thought that's why you opened the door. I heard it crying a long time in here.
According to the husband, Austin, the cry lasted longer that night than it ever had before. They checked every room and every corner, but found nothing. If it were a neighbor's baby, they would have recognized the direction, but each time, the sound feels contained, like it exists in their space and nowhere else. At first, the couple tried to see it as a positive sign. Some cultures believe hearing a phantom baby cry can symbolize incoming life, a spiritual sign that a child may soon enter the family, but others warn about much darker meanings. In paranormal folklore, disembodied crying, especially of infants, is often associated with entities that mimic vulnerability to draw attention. Spirits that imitate babies are believed to trigger instinctive emotional responses, lowering fear and making people more receptive to their presence. There's also the unsettling connection to stories like La Llorona, an entity known for using the sound of crying children to lure people closer. But what unsettles this couple the most isn't just the crying, it's the fact that it happens at the same time, every single night. So should they see it as a hopeful sign or a warning? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. Now in this next clip, two girls, friends by the sound of it, are messing around in a bedroom late at night, trying to climb onto the top bunk the hard way, one standing on the other's shoulders. It's the kind of silly, chaotic moment that gets filmed because it's funny, nothing more. One of them falls, they both end up on the floor in hysterics, and the girl in the red shirt is laughing so hard she can barely breathe. According to her, the video was posted to Facebook as a funny clip and sat there for weeks before anyone noticed anything. Then someone in the comments asked a question that stopped her cold. Watch. Right there, a pale, slender hand with noticeably long fingers reaches out from behind her left shoulder, grips the lower rail of the bunk bed, and then pulls back out of sight. Neither girl reacts. They couldn't have. According to her, neither of them even knew it was there until someone pointed it out weeks later. If you slow it down and watch the moment carefully, there's no angle that puts either girl's arm in that position. Her own left hand is clearly visible and accounted for. Some viewers think it's a third person just out of frame, though the room and camera angle make that difficult to explain. Others go somewhere darker entirely, pointing to the fact that just before the hand appears, she'd been yelling, "Help me," over and over, and something, it seems, may have answered. The following video was recorded by a man in Virginia who'd been noticing strange things happening inside his shed. Strange enough that he set up a Ring security camera in there to try to catch something on film. The shed itself is cluttered with tools, old boxes, and years of accumulated junk. The kind of space that's easy to ignore until it starts ignoring you back. The camera is mounted high in a corner, looking down over the whole room, and on the afternoon of April 19th of 2026, at around 4:26 p.m., nobody is inside. Nobody visible, anyway. A door at the back of the room is closed, the floor is still, and then it isn't. Watch.
Man, look at this.
What unfolds over the next few minutes is one of the densest collections of unexplained activity caught on a single static camera in recent memory. A door swinging open on its own, loud thuds and heavy dragging sounds filling the room with no visible source. A ball rolling out of the open doorway and stopping dead. A wooden shelf crashing to the floor, and then, most disturbingly, being lifted back up and out of frame against gravity. And then there's the music. Old-fashioned, tinny, with a female vocalist. Faint at first, then growing steadily louder, as though something is physically walking it closer to the camera's microphone. Right up until a sharp pop is heard, and something lets out a high-pitched cry of pain. When the man Yeed enters the shed to investigate, you can hear how shaken he is, breathing heavy, voice cracking, yelling into the dark attic above him, and getting nothing back. What he finds up there doesn't answer anything. Broken nameplates reading Mr. and Mrs. Ronald J. with the surname snapped clean off, a shattered Rolex-style watch, shot glasses etched with the logo of Sweetbriar College, a women's-only institution here in Virginia, all of it belonging to someone else, someone whose connection to this shed he can't explain. Many viewers think what's captured here is classic poltergeist behavior, not a haunting tied to a location so much as an intelligence that interacts with physical objects, creates sound, and seems capable of responding to the presence of a camera. Poltergeist activity in paranormal research is often described as kinetic, loud, and escalating, the kind of presence that doesn't hide but performs. Others think the objects found in the attic matter more than the activity itself, that whoever Ronald J. was, something tied to him, or to whoever he shared that nameplate with, hasn't fully left the space. The shelf being lifted back up is the detail that's hardest to walk away from. Things fall, that's physics, but whatever pulled that shelf back up wasn't working with gravity, it was working against it. So what exactly is living in that shed with him, and does it know he's looking? Now, in this next clip, a group of friends decide to explore the darker parts of the building they're staying in at 4:15 in the morning. What starts as a casual, laughing walkthrough of a dark office space slowly shifts into something far more unsettling. The man filming leads his two friends through room after room, trying locked doors, peering into a cluttered storage area, and eventually unlatching a back door that opens into complete darkness outside. The mood is still light. They're joking, whispering, shining a phone flashlight into corners until they saw something terrifying. Watch.
Oh, my pitu, my pitu, my pitu, my pitu, my pagi. My pagi, my pitu, mari kita tengok, mari kita tengok. Buka lampu, Pi, buka lampu, Pi. Nak guguk babi. Buka lampu, buka lampu. Macam ni, Pi. Macam ada orang. Allah, lampu pula tutup. Ya babi tu. Bodoh. Ni tinggal aku ke bodoh? Macam babi tinggal aku. Lampu tutup pula. Ruang ketang, ruang jiluan, ruang ketang. Bodoh. Bimbang. Diam. Tak pasal pipi je. Diam. Ya. Dok orang tu. Dok sini gelak dia. Allah Akbar. Bodoh. Ya Allah. Bodoh. Babi gugah ya Allah. Allahu Akbar.
If you look closely, there's a figure, and according to the guys, it's a pokong. Near the edge of the darkness, a pale figure can briefly be seen motionless in the background. The group immediately reacts, and according to the men filming, what they saw was a pokong, a ghost from Indonesian and Malay folklore, believed to be the spirit of a dead person trapped inside their burial shroud. In traditional beliefs, the body of the deceased is wrapped tightly in white cloth before burial, with bindings around the head, neck, and feet. Legends claim that if the soul is unable to move on, the spirit may return in the same wrapped form. unable to walk normally, and often described as hopping or appearing stiff and motionless in dark places. Reports of Pocong sightings are especially common near abandoned buildings, graveyards, and isolated roads late at night. Some viewers believe the figure was simply a person standing outside in the darkness. Others are convinced the reaction from the group was too immediate and genuine to be staged. But for those familiar with the legend of the Pocong, the clip taps into a fear that has existed for generations. The following clip was recorded inside what appears to be a private collection room, floor-to-ceiling wooden shelves packed with hundreds of clown dolls, figurines, and ceramic pieces. A human-sized clown seated in a chair in the background, holding two smaller ones on its lap. The woman filming walks through the space calmly at first, taking it all in, until something just off-camera stops her cold. Watch.
Might do that. Are you a textual? Well, thank you. You see that? I did not.
She freezes mid-step, her expression shifting from neutral to wide-eyed shock, and she raises her palm outward like she's bracing against something invisible. Collections like this, especially ones centered around objects with human-like features, such as dolls or figurines, have long been tied to unsettling theories in paranormal folklore. Across multiple cultures, objects that resemble the human form are believed to act as vessels, not necessarily because something is placed into them intentionally, but because their likeness creates what some traditions describe as a spiritual anchor, something that makes it easier for unseen entities to attach themselves or manifest through them. Clown figures in particular tend to amplify that discomfort, not because of anything inherently supernatural about clowns themselves, but because their exaggerated expressions create a disconnect between emotion and appearance. Smiles that don't feel natural, eyes that seem fixed yet aware, making it easier for the human mind to interpret subtle changes as something more.